So I caught up with somebody recently that I had only spoken to once before, maybe a year ago. And this poster here was something that they inquired about. They actually asked me how that was going. And that really has been the prompt to make this video and to talk about this, what it is, and you can read it now, I'm sure, My Life in Weeks. But what it is to me, what it sort of stands for, and what meaning I draw from it. So this is a poster that represents my life through to 85 years old. And when it arrived, some of it was filled out, and then I take a pen and fill in a box for every week that proceeds forward. So what this represents to me is a number of things. It gives me an appreciation of the sort of relative time span that I can look forward to, in my thinking, really being about contributing and participating in the world in a very active way. And a word that I use to describe that is work, right? That if I get to 85, I think that up to that point, I can still contribute something meaningful in a way that might be described as work. I'm already doing some voluntary work, potentially that'll expand through the later years. I'm creating stuff like this. I'm also writing and working in the community, and I think those avenues of expression, contribution and creation will remain open all the way through to 85 years. But I don't know, of course, if I'll get there, and I don't know if I'll go past this mark. If I do though, I'm going to have a rest. I'm going to give myself a break and really just nurture, what remains, nearest and dearest to me past 85. Okay, so it gives me an appreciation of the span of my contributory time. The second thing is that gives me a focus on, from that point, from that end point, what would I want my legacy to be? With many of my coaching clients, I have done obituary exercises, really sort of looking at, what you might want to be said about you in a eulogy or written about you in an obituary, and thinking about how you then move towards creating what it is that essentially you want to be remembered for. Another thing then is I can look at that point, which shows that I am, sort of in my early 40s, and I can look at what I've done. I can look at how I've gotten to this point, and I can look at the capabilities, the experiences that I've developed to get me to this point. And then I can think about what I want to do to fill the rest of that space, and how what I've already got can help me do that, and think about whether there is anything else that I need to seriously invest time, energy, effort, and resources in developing in order to meet how I want to be remembered as I fill that remaining time. So some questions there that you might want to consider for yourself. What does your life in weeks currently look like? What do you want to be remembered for? What have you already done? And what have you already developed in the weeks that you've spent in this life so far? And how might you draw on those to fill the weeks that remain? It's just a little something to think about this episode of Time with Tim. See you in the next one.